Hey guys, welcome back. We are in Dinamo Zagreb at this point. This is a sleeping giant in a way. It's not sleeping giant in terms of the Dinamo Zagreb is a club that is already very good in their own league. They are doing great in Croatia. So the history of this club is, I mean, is a good club. So you can see the history here. They have been up there. They won many titles in a row here. So suddenly they lost it. I think this was in 2016, but they have them won it last year and we just won it this year. So it's expected that you win the title in Croatia. So in that term, Dinamo Zagreb is not a sleeping giant. It's a normal club. It's a club that is performing at its level. So what you want to do is you want to make some European trophies here, as you have Euro Cup here. You want to bring them back there. You want them to win something outside Europe, or make them. You want to help them take a new step. And to do that, you need money, because here's the problem. I played with Dinamo Zagreb here, and you can win the title. You will get no money for it. There's no money in winning the title. So the finance here is so extremely important. So the reputation of the club have to be better in European base, because if you are playing better in Europe, your player will go for a higher price. They will be valued higher, and you have to keep getting the good players in. So in a way, you will sell your players. At last, you will then get the players you really want to have that can bring you to maybe to the quarterfinals. The one point here is that something that you have to understand, that you are in a way 100% sure to be in the European League, because the good thing is we go to the league here. The first place and second place, they will go to the Champions League, European Cup here. They will be qualified here. So, but you have to qualify, play 3 matches here in the playoff before you go into the Champions League. As you can see here, you lost 4 games. You played 36 games. It can get really boring out there, and you start to try to do something in your trainings, in your tactics. You're playing the same clubs, I think, 4 times. So in terms of you're playing the same clubs all the time, you're in the terms that you are winning a lot of games. Not only that you're winning a lot of games, but the second team is almost 12 points. It was much more than this. The last games I played only with my young players. Even the cup final I played with my young players. So in the other way, it's very fun, because you really have to use a lot of time on building the club. You have to build the finance of the club. You have to build the young players in the team. You have to make them come into the first team. You have to start building for the young players, and you have to not be too fall in love with the players in a way to keep them if they are very good, because you need the money coming in. So you have to always know, okay, who should I keep, who should I keep, and if it comes an offer, you should sell the player. So what we do in the season, we won the season, as you can see, very easily. So season, it's not that fun. What did we do in the transfer market? We can look at that at the squad later. But what did we do in the Champions League? We played our first. We can see here the season filter. No, it's not about that. Okay, anyway, we can look at the Champions League. We played our first. We started here. The first game was against Slavian Bratislava. We won that 4-1, 2-1 aggregate. So we went. I think this is a team from Iceland. We won 5-0 and lost away game 1-0. So when you get the chance to play young players like this, you do it. You let them go into the field. And the third game. Qualic was not. Then we qualified for the Champions League. We were in group with Racing Genk, that we won 2-0 the first game. Then second game was against Real Madrid. We lost 1-0 here at home, and then against Zenit we lost 4-1. That was a tactical mistake from me. But anyway, next games afterwards, we played against Zenit. We defeated them 1-0. We defeated Genk 2-1, and we were through to the Champions League final. So we went up from the group stage. So the important thing is, if you look at the attendance here, we have a stadium that is 35,000 people. It can take 35,000 people. So when you look at the first league here, guys, is no money in winning the title. Is only maybe some TV money you can get here. So there is not much money. But the the game, for example, the match day in Champions League will give you a lot of money. It's extremely much money. So in one point, you are not using a lot of money to play in Croatia, but also you don't have not that much expenses. So getting one Champions League victory here in group stage, it really boosts your economy. So as you can see here, for example, in a normal league game, for example, the Super Cup here, there were 15,000 people. We played it at home. So, but in the normal league game, we will fill the stadium with first league at home against Usijek, 10,000 people. So there's 25,000 empty places at that stadium that match. So in a Champions League match, qualifying games against Slavia and Bratislava, we filled 25,000 people at that match. So these are the games you're really earning money on, both on TV rights, on prize money, and as well as a lot of other things. Okay, so you see the Champions League, for example, the month that we, for example, played against Racing Genk here at I think this was this month there. We had 2 Champions League matches at home in 1 month. Yes, it was here, Real Madrid and Zenit. These 2 games was 34,000 people we had against Real Madrid, and against Zenit at home we had 28,000 people. So you will see the economy that month just was boosted. And when we came here, we came to the qualifying, we came to Champions League, we played against Manchester City. We lost 1-0 at home, and away game we lost 2-1. We were leading 1-0 before we got a red card here. So anyway, so that's the economy part. Now we bring it to the economy. I have sold a lot of players. In mid-season, I sold them. So I built them up. We had a great Champions League campaign. We were winning the title and at home. So the reputation of the players just was boosted. So I managed to get this. It's now 48 million we have in balance. We had 21 million pound in transfer budget. That's a lot. When you start, I think you have 3 or 4 million pound here. You have 20 million here. So we had doubled it before the season is over. And we have not even get a prize money yet. There is yet prize money, I think, to get from Champions League. The TV money. So the income from the TV. But I think so. I think there is always a amount of money that is given at the end of the season. But as you can see here, and you can see the income here, guys, from Champions League this season, TV revenues is up to 1.3 million. On European Champions Cup is 280,000. So this is from Europe. Croatia First League is 1.3 this season, 1.1. So we will get the TV revenue money for the Champions League later, and I think that's a lot, since we also come out of the group stage. The merchandising will also increase as you do it better in Europe. You will see a major shift here. Interest is not that important. The gate receipts here is important, because if you are playing a Champions League match, I think you will get the income of, if you have a Champions League match and you don't win it, but you play 2 home games, you will get almost 2 million pound income that month. In Dinamo Zagreb's case, and in a normal month you will get an income of around 700,000, I think, or something like that. No, to a good month you get 700,000. So yeah, as you can see it, because there is no prize money in the league, and if it's any prize money there, it will be so low that you cannot live on it. The match day incomes and things like that, it really boosts. One thing is that we didn't have any sponsors when I started with the season, but now we have one sponsor. This is not much money per season, 83,000 pounds. But the cool thing here is we are not the club that have the best sponsors. I think there is potential here that we get more sponsors in. We have just been bought off of a new owner, so maybe that. So you have to, if you're gonna build them up, you have to build the economy so hard that you can buy good young players, and sometimes maybe some good routine, some good experienced player that don't have that high transfer fee, but you have to wage them high. Maybe get them a free transfer or something like that. I cannot go out and splash those 20 million, because next year, okay, I will win the Croatian League again, but I have to take steps in Europe. I have to see buying players at the top in European measure. So when you look at the squad here, guys, when you start, you have a goalkeeper that is extremely good. Livakovic, great goalkeeper. As you can see, 1-on-1's 18, so he's a great reflex keeper. Sweeper goalkeeper. His rushing out is good, his acceleration is good. He's only 25 years old. Goalkeeper is something I don't easily sell, so it's very hard for me to sell him. And I can see the values of the players have also been increased. And something else I forgot to tell you: when you play with a team that has so many young players, and you are really have to do the young players better than they are today, you have to work on your young players. You have to take responsibility for the training. You have to take the responsibility for training, and that's very easy. I have a training video I have let out here. We can look at that one. But the main issue is there: play a system, then go and work extra hard on those categories on the players. Week in, week out, set up the training week, and you make them train what you need to have on your team. So you will see it very well increasing. So okay, you saw the goalkeeper, and you have also another one good young goalkeeper, that is goalkeeper number 3, and you have also one goalkeeper that is 21 years old that is on loan to Chievo. He will come back this year. I will sell. Many clubs want him. He's expensive goalkeeper, and I will try to keep on Livakovic. That is 12 international laps for Croatia too. In defense, you have right backs. You have Sadegh Muharrami, and he had played for Iranian national team 7 games. When you started the game, he had a value of £500,000. He was £500,000, so he have got a value increase of £1 million. That's a lot in this league. So he played well. He's stable. He was the most stable right back I had in the team. Not extreme thing here. He was very good in the defensive part of the game, and he didn't get that many yellow cards as his partner did, because his partner is very good going offensively, but as well as getting yellow cards. This one, and that's the thing, because his aggression is very high and his tackling and decision is not that high. So right away when he got a yellow card in the European games, I took him off. A lot of my players have become much better than they were when you start the game, but he's offensively good player. Now I've worked on player traits on everyone, and I go and analyze every player to give them something to work on so they can be a better player in the system, in the team. Okay, you also start with Emir Dilaver. He's a non-nonsense center back. I use him as a playing center back, and the reason is I think he's okay with the passing. At this level, he is very good. But the main thing is, I didn't sell him because he got a lot of offers in winter time, and he was 28 years old, I think, in the winter. So I knew he was 29 years old. But because his pace was good, his aggression, his defensive aspect of the game is so good that I need him, and you're gonna see why later. So he played good, and he was almost not injured, because his partner was sold mid-season by the board, and he was sold after the transfer window in Croatia was locked, but the China was open, so they sold him, and that was just before I was meeting Manchester City. So the second part of the season, it ruined a lot for me. So I couldn't send Emir either. Jasko Gvardiol is maybe one of the best center defenders in this game. I have not checked his potential. He was 17 years old when I found him in my junior team. I brought him up to the first team. As you can see, he's killing it. He is killing it. He had 2 stars, I think, when we started the game. He have increased his jumping range from 14 to 16, his determination from 16 to 18. So we have had good training with him. He's a good ball-playing defender. They can also play at the left. You can also use him as a halfback if you want that. But as you can see, his positioning is good. His jumping reach is very good, and that will score you a lot of goals. He's left-footed, so you can use him easily at the left side. Look at this, he's 18 years old. His mental is like a grown-up man. His decision is 12, like an 18-year-old player. Positioning could be better, and the defensive part he can be better. He's a big guy, of course. Heading is good, and jumping reach is good. So what we have to focus on here is to make his tackling better, his marking better, because his passing is 12, his technique is 12, his first touch is 12, his vision is good, and the dribbling is becoming better and better, and he's pacey defender as well as big. So I only had those 2, and he was my hot young player that I wanted to make. I wanted to finish this season, then sell Emir and keep the other defender that my board sold. So, but thing was ruined. So because I had him as my third defender, he got a lot of playtime. But then he became my second defender, and Emir became now the defender I keep. So it ruined a little bit of my plans. He was for sale in summer. Anyway, Petar Stojanovic, as you saw, was the other right defender, and we also had a center defender too here. That is Luka Jelenic. He's in your second team, or you team, sorry. He's 19 years old when you start with the game. As you can see, one thing is here in Croatia, the players are very tall players, good in jumping reach and not that fast. He's the same in a way, so he's good jumping reach. I brought him up in February when they sold my other center defender. I played him 5 times in the league, once in the Croatian Cup. He's of course a long way to go. Even though he's not a ball playing defender, I'm training him up as a ball playing defender to make him better as a ball player. His strength, he has a lot to go on. His jumping reach is good, and he's becoming better and better and better. His determination is good, so he will increase his level. So, but he will never be your first defender. He will be a good defender having on a locally series. What I have also seen in Dinamo Zagreb is that they have one team in the series and one other team in the Champions League or Euro Cup when they're playing those games. So I a little bit copied that. I bought Team Spar because I sold my Ademi, is my defensive midfielder. He played as a halfback for me. I sold my halfback. He was 28 years old. I sold him for 12 million pounds, and we will get even more money. So I brought him for 235,000 pounds because this league was almost won. I just needed one player to be there, and I think as a halfback he's a good player, as his tackling is high, his passing is good. He will guard your defenders when you're playing wide with the defenders. Bravery is good, and his passing is also good in a 15, you know. So teamwork, positioning, work rate. This is a good player. He's slow, but it's not that big of a problem when you're playing with when you're playing him as a halfback. That will not be a big problem. So yeah, I brought in Sparv. I sold the other one, and I'm working on some 3-4 young players that I can bring in under 22 years old. That can be my future halfback. So he have one more good year in himself. So to that time, I will find a new one, I think, or train a new one. You have a lot of players in your junior team. I will not go into that. I had also a left back that was very good, Lekfovic. He is 500. I sold him for 570,000 pounds because his contract was going out in the summer. So maybe a stupid choice for me of doing that. He was a very good left defender. He had 7 assists. I sold him only for 570,000 pounds. He was 32 years old next season, so that was the money I would get. And he would left even in the summer. He didn't want my new contract. So Mihailo Ristic I brought in from Montpellier. He's played 12 games. He started 9 of them, scored 4, and played very well, 751. So, but he is not a player that I think will bring you out of the, as you can see, the pace and anything like that. He will not bring you out of the Europe Champions League or something like that. But he will be a very good second defender, I think, in time. Okay, you also have Francisco Mubanje. Mubanje became my left back more and more when I sold the other one left back. He's 30 years old. He can also play as a central defender. He's an okay player. He's on his age. He's 30 years old. He played 11 games, 714. He can play more different roles in the team, and I will be after selling him. I think he played a lot of matches for Switzerland, but it's not good enough. It's good enough for this league, but it's not good enough in the long run. So you had also Amr Goyak. Amr Goyak have really become a better player in this season since we started with him. I use him mostly as a mezzala, and of course his technique and passing should be better at this level, but his composure is very good, so he's keeping calm out there. He's also a movely player, 14 off the ball. His dribbling is good, his stamina is great, and his work rate is good too, and his bravery is not that bad, 14. So he's an offensive player that can give you a lot defensively. Typical box to box, maybe some people will call him, but I think he's a more mezzala. Moves in channels, shoots from distance. That was something we worked on. Should be power runs with ball rarely. So he started 15 games. In Champions League, I mostly used him as a mezzala from start because he had both the offensively part and the defensively part. His value has increased, and he gained a lot of interest, especially in February. And now this December and February he got a lot of interest, but I didn't sell him. I think I sold another midfielder, so I think we have more to get from him. Nicola Moro, what a player this is. He can play all over. He played as a deep line playmaker, as his passing is one of the best here. His vision is not that good, so could be better. But I used a halfback deep line playmaker and a Mezzala, so he fell a little bit out there. He can use both of his foot. He moves a lot, shots from distance, as you can see. His long shots are very good. Didn't score that many goals at long shots, but I'll use him as a deep line playmaker. He have been a Dinamo player, 7.68 here. I will not sell him. I know the interest is there. If I'm going to sell him, I will sell him for £20 million. Or the board have to accept the offer that I cannot say anything about. The reason is I need him, I think, 2 more years before I sell him. He have 2 more years left here. So I will keep him. I will try to keep on him. As you can see, you can have already interests from Juventus and Milan. This one I had a little bit hard problem with. Luka Ivanusek. Luka Ivanusek is he's a pacey player, very similar to Goyak in a way, but a little bit better passer, a little bit better tackling, bravery as well. His positioning is not that well. He's off the ball movements. I had a hard time finding where should he play. I trained him as a Mezzala because of his dribbling is good and his off the ball is good and his pace is very well and his balance is very good, so he have hard time losing the ball. The jumping reach is a small player in a way. So, but he didn't get more than 8 starting games, so he's a little bit unhappy because he wants to start more games. He have 2 games for Croatia, 1 goal, international. So we just bought him in for 2.6 million, and I will not sell him for 4 million. I think next year can be the season. He had a hard time. I should have given him more chance of playing. I bought Pavicic. This was a stupid buy. This was when I came into the game. I thought I would play with the advanced playmaker, and I really liked him that way. He never got the chance to play 3 games for a start. He got injured right away when he came into the team, so he was injured a long time. So I didn't really get it. But I bought him from my opponent's Reisha Cup. So in a way, you have to do that to bring the best players of your opponent's team, so you can keep them down there too. So yeah, I've also bought in Kabut. It's from France League 2. He comes from Lorient, and I bought him as a substitute. As you can see, he was not that expensive, so I thought, why not? His dribbling is good, and flair is good, and pace and acceleration is good. So it was just like having a extra man. So I'm training him as an inside forward. As you can see, he played okay. The other players you can see I bought was the Reynoso. He was my first choice as when it comes to Mezzala, but not in Champions League, because he has so extremely bad defensive when it comes to tackling. But when you played against Real Madrid, you played against Zenit, you played against the good teams like City, he came in as a substitute when I needed a goal. So in the league, he primary was my first starter. He could also play as a false 9 or as a right winger. That was an inside forward, based on his dribbling and his passing, his long shots. You see his technique passing vision is extremely good. Bought him for 4.4 million. I don't think I will get those money back. It was a big investment, but again, in the start I didn't know how this worked, to be honest. Urisic is maybe one of your best player. This is a player that you can buy to another club, and if you're a European Cup, you want the left winger who scores goals. This is a guy, great in dribbling. Even though this is 14, he's really great player. So his off the ball movement is great. His pace is good, as you can see. An acceleration, finishing is 15. So you can also use him as striker. He scored 9 goals in Champions League, 9 goals in the league. So a great player, of course, a great player. Antonio Marin is a player you have to keep an eye on. When we started the season, I think he was £1 million or £900,000. This is an 18-year-old boy when you start the game. His dribbling is 16, his flair is 17, and he have good pace. But you can't overuse him either. So that's also why I bought in the French player. He played 28 games, 5 goals. In Champions League, he played 10 games totally and scored 3 goals. So and his value have increased. You got some huge money offers on here, around £11 million in winter. I rejected that because I see his value is increasing, and I think we can get more out of him. He's going to be a very good player when he gets 22 years old here, if he gets play time. So I think that would be a better time. If I'm going to sell him, he's going to be world record breaking sell. Modric keeps that around 16 million, I think it was. So I have to get more than that to sell him. And and then you got Izet Hajrovic. He is also in the team. He's a Bosnian player. He also can get some interest. I use him as an inside forward. He scores a lot of goals. 6 goals, 18 starters, 1 goal in the Champions League. He is very good and set pieces and things like that. As you can see here, corners 14 and free kick taking 16. So he's good at that part and he's a good player to have in the team. I liked him. So okay, and you have Hajrovic, and then you have also Darlin Layton I brought in. 18. He's 18 years old when he comes from Ecuador. Kulenovic is an interesting player. He's 20 years old. They value him very high. He have been in Serie A already. No, not him. The other one. Sorry. You have him in Poland. He played 4 games. He was loaned to Legia and scored 4 goals there. He didn't score a goal for me this season. He scored only in the Croatian Cup. So he can be a good target man. 15 in jumping, 13 in heading. As you know, there are big players here. So, but the main striker is Petkovic. 25 years. His finishing is not that good. I use him as a false 9 because that was and he scored 19 goals in the league and 3 goals in the Champions League. Not that many goals in the Champions League, of course. His jumping reach is 17, his heading is 14, so you can also use him as a target man. You could also use him as a deep lying playmaker, as you can see, have both the physique of strength of 19 and the passing is 14. His vision is almost 17. So, and dribbling is also very good. So, great player. And last one I brought up from my junior team is Bartol Barisic. He is 17 years old, so I think he's 16 years old when we start the game. This guy is a big one. He's also 189 tall. He's 17 years old. His jumping reach is 13. I think that you can easily get this up to 15, 16. His heading is high, but I train him as a complete forward at this point because I need to, and I also learned him to come deep to get the ball because that's what the system needs from him. And based on he can read the game very well here, his decision is good, so he's a mentally very strong player. So you have a lot of young players coming in. So we have also a lot of other young players who have we sold in this team, and that's some players. We sold players, as you can see here. We have brought in some players, of course, but you can see we also sold some players. Dino Peric was my central defender. Look at his jumping reach, 20. His heading, 16. So they sold him £7.5 million. He was I wanted to have him next year based on his jumping reach and physique and heading, because that could give me a great center back pair with that young player and him. Both of them are great in the air. We can get a lot of goals on set pieces in Europe based on those two, and defended well again in Europe too. You need good, because you get a lot of crosses against you in Europe because the other teams will push you back down the field. So you really need to can handle your own defense in central defense. So he was sold for 7.5 million, and you sold also, we have loaned him away. We also sold Renata Josipovic. This was my third goalkeeper. He's a young one. I could have kept him because he's a great goalkeeper in a way, but I've got good money for him, 550, and I thought, hey, I have so many keepers. You have many good keepers, and my main keeper, if I'm keeping him, and I'm doing that, I'm gonna keep him there till he retire. So I don't need to have this one, so I can sell him. And we have a lot of closers here that they have to give us 40% of his next transfer and blah blah blah. You also have Robbie Burton in your team. He got good wage. He's a good player. I loaned him away. As you can see, he's really gone up. I played with him only 2 games. He's in the game when you start with the game, of course. He came here from Arsenal. So he's from Wales. If you can manage him to perform, he will be a very good player. His natural fitness is great. As you can see, his pace, his acceleration. He is a pacey guy. So this is a very great Mazzella. This is a player that can really, as you can see, high working rate, high teamwork, good vision. This is a player that can really help you winning the ball high up in the field and really give something in European competition as well. if we can manage to make him as good as possible. I loaned him away to Preston to get him some playtime. Aryan Ademi, he was 28 years old when he started with the game. He's 29 years old, so I sold him for 11.55 million, and you also can get some 3 million pounds that we also will get in later. I only played one game here. He's a great player, he's a great player as in defensive part, as in mental part, a great leader in the team. So that was, when he had left, I needed to get a player like Sparv, that's a Finnish guy that was 33 years old. I needed a leader in there. I needed someone who can perform defensively, because it had worked so far very well. So you have him, and Lovro Mayer is a very good player. As you can see, his crossing is 17, but I didn't find a place for him because he cannot play as a deep line playmaker, and he cannot play as a Mazzella for me. There were better Mazzellas in the team, so he just was there in a way. So I thought, okay, I sell him, and I got the 2 million. I bought the other player that was a wrong buy, so yeah. So he was away. And you also Krizmanic, he's a very good player. He was sold for 1.7, but we have so many good midfielders that selling him was not that hard for me. As you said, you cannot have 10 good young players in your team. So okay, I went for Burton, and then this guy had to go out. And this is the left back I told you about, Marin Leovak, good left back. So we got some money for him when we sold him. Very little money, of course, so we maybe could have kept him to the summer. But money is important here. Money is important. And also, we also sold Ulmo. Is the little brother of the other Olmo in the game. All good players that's on loan here. So I also sold Kevin to Opil Katrin when we start the game. He's 29 years old, so he's not a starter in a way, and you can sell him. I think I had him for, I don't know. He played substitute last year too, and he had a good high wage in the team. Not extremely high, but for here it was high. And also you have Deman Kazior. This is a Polo player from Poland. Great crossing. I tried to convert him as a left back, but it didn't work. I didn't give it time to work, but I cannot play winger. My wingers have to be better in dribbling what he is. He played now in Poland, 17 games, 3 goals. He played 2 games for me. So yeah. So do you have any more players we can do anything? But I don't think so. You can look at the tactic here, guys. The tactic is very similar to the Pep I made for the Pep Guardiola remake I made. The movie is also out there. You can watch that one if you need it. But is some small adjustments we have done here based in this team. We have higher up the line of engagement, and one of the reasons is we have a midfielder here that can do it, and we know the defenders we are playing against are really bad, so we have to pressure them. We couldn't follow up. We can follow up with this one, but then I have to go with the outside trap, and I'm not sure how they do that. We defend wide, use tight marking, so this is the same as the other one. Counter press, we do not go counter attacking here, and they can play out to the fullbacks or the center back. And offensively, we play narrow football. In a way, this is a Pep Guardiola remaking. So you play out of defense. You have a shorter passing, higher tempo. What we did, I'm going to show you that we work the ball into the box, of course, and have low crosses against some teams that we use it whipped crosses. So yeah. When you play against good teams, you play also positive. So when we played against Real Madrid, every Champions League game we started with cautious, and you always score first in a way. So then you go here and you take time wasting as well. This will not ruin you making chances, but the opponent will not get that many chances. So, and sometimes you can also take away the work ball into the box when you play in the European competition. So as you can see, yeah, so against good teams we took that one away. Is there any more things you should know? No. And when you get those money, so the thing here is you build something, not for next season, but in the long term. We have also built up our training facilities. We're gonna make that. I'm asked the board to doing that. So we have invested a lot of money, £7 million, I think it was. We have invested in the club. We will increase our training facilities and as well as our youth facilities. So this will be superb next year. So that's what we have invested in. I tried to make them buy a stadium, or build a new stadium, because I don't think they own this stadium, but they are not paying any rent for it, so that's good. But you want your own stadium if you want to take the next level. So that's it, guys. Should you play it? This is a very long one. This is in a way, the Dinamo Zagreb team have full of good players. So if you love playing with youth players, building them up, this is a game for you. This is the game. But you will not get that much competition inside the league, in domestic league. So you're waiting all the time for the European games. If you are hitting out very early, that's not going to be fun. But if you're going here in a long-term way, you have to make them get more money. You have to build maybe a new stadium. You have to build the reputation of the club up. You have to make them a better club, as a club, not only as a team, but as a club. So you really have to keep it up. And you can also go and hit the, don't make it. You can maybe don't win the league. If you screw it that way, then you have it in a hard way. So I wouldn't give up. So that way it could maybe be good, but you have to make the right transfers. You have to fill up your staff, as I have done here. Full up everything, recruitment here, everything. You have to be a professional club, a big club. I'm missing a technical director here. Anyway, but use your time on training and things like that. If you like that, this is the game for you. You can improve a lot of young players. If you like strategy, you have to always go down here. It's a lot of good players, guys, in Dinamo too. You can look at here. Players with potential. You have also Filip Brakulu, is 17 years old. Look at this one. He have been injured. But you have also players on loan like Adrian Samper. This is the goalkeeper I told you. That is in Chievo. His last year contract. So yeah, you also got Petar Kujic, the center back, 20 years old, playing well. So as you can see, there are a lot of stars here, and many of them is already folded up in the first team. This is a junior team, under 19 team. We look at Ivan Saranic, a great player. So I have gone here, given them individual trainings, moving them from one place to another place, keeping eye on them. You have also, I like this one very well too. I believe he will be good. So look at his passing, 16 years old, guys, 13 years old, 16 when you start. His passing is 15 already. I given them contract. So you give them the contract, full-time contract, if you believe in them, and you move them up to the first team, give them play games, don't too much. If you like that kind of game, this is great. And the Champions League is the place, or the European Cup, that's the place. But keep getting the money in. Important games are very important. Don't screw it up. I know I only played with my junior players in the young players in the final of the cup, because I wanted all those cup games. I wanted to play the cup games. The reason is it's money. It's little money, but to get the home games are money for you. So you need those games to get more money. So you really have to think here like a banker here. You need to build the club. So you can see the projection also in the club. It's 28 million. We will maybe go up to 36 million pound here. I don't know what the new owner will mean in this club. They have just bought us up, so that can also be a cool thing. But if you really want week in, week out results, and you easily get bored, you don't want to work on the training sessions and things like that, this is not something for you. Then I wouldn't do it. You will get bored here. Same club, same thing. If you like the tactical part of the game, this is not the place for you. If you like to build the club long term, don't lose your head in the midway there. That's the game for you. But it can be really boring if you don't like to build a club. If you just want that tactical part, it will be really messy for you. Guys, if you like it, hit the like button. And I see you later.